And to bring that to the fore, that these people are now still purchasing lethal weapons against our citizens, that would really make a lot of people unhappy. So that's the kind of stuff I like to do.
I'm amazed that every day, both on radio and TV, extensive coverage of Syria, the young people, what's happening to people in Syria, and now again in Egypt. And there's almost no coverage of what's happening to our young people. And it makes you think, how do we spread the information except by the internet? And it's being monitored so carefully. And I found if I'm interested in tennis, all of a sudden I'm getting suggestions to go to tennis sites. That's when I realized they're listening to.
They know everything.
Listening to me.
That's exactly
but not in a positive way.
Yeah. Every time you write something, all the ads are keyed towards what you were saying.
What you said. Yeah. It's scary.
It is.
It's really, really scary. Well, what else? What are you saying to young people? Do you have much contact? You're visiting the site here, right? And
occasionally. But my problem is that I don't have time.
Well, you're doing your job, I guess.
I know. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and get picked up to take him to a studio to do a show in New York. I don't know how often I've gotten up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be picked up at 4 to do a morning show somewhere on the East Coast. And then in the afternoon, it's the Canadians. They want me to come to the studio and send a driver to pick me up. So my day is every 10 minutes something. It's unbelievable what has been happening. And to me, it is all good. But it doesn't leave me time to do the activism
the other things
that I like to do. But I do communicate with all these people all over the world.
Well, it's amazing that we have this moment in time, very important moment in time, to make the change in consciousness and see each other differently. And I just think we have to smile and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do whatever is available. I know I had an 80th birthday party, and I launched my effort of Us for Precedent, and I was up the week before every night at 3 o'clock thinking about it, and I haven't had that much energy in years.
I know. Well, I told somebody, they said, you seem to be more pepped up now than you were before. And I said, pepper spray is a good stimulator.
Well, I'm not going to go that route, but
well, I'm not choosing to go that route, let's put it that way. But if it happens, it happens. I'm not staying away.
Are you feeling hopeful?
Yes.
Every time I see her.
What do you think Occupy's priority should be? Should we be focused on Citizens United, Glass-Steagall, organizing our local communities and neighborhoods? Where do you think our energy should be?
Well, the way my priorities go are stop the war first, because everything else suffers because of the spending of the money on wars and making nations our enemies. We're making more enemies per square inch than we've ever seen in our lifetime. And after that, after the peace, comes education, environment, and jobs. But it all depends on stopping the wars first, because without money, none of the other things can happen. And I'm going to Olympia and speak to corporate personhood on Monday against the Citizens United. So that is something that we really need to do, step up. And we're going to talk about it in Olympia, and we're going to talk about it in front of the Supreme Court in January. that is definitely one of the more important things. We need to get our system changed so that ordinary people can run for office. It's absolutely obscene for Bloomberg to buy himself New York.
And not take a salary. Wasn't that nice of him?
I cannot imagine a democracy that lets this absurdity happen. And we had one here who gave himself $200,000 or more to run for city council, for God's sake, in a small town. He lost, by the way.
Oh, did he?
He lost to our present mayor, whom I supported to the hilt.
Well, to call ourselves a democratic society is
It's a misnomer.
It's a misnomer. Call it an oligarchy, a plutocracy, a tyrannical state. Any of those, and nobody believes that.
That's true.
Not only do they not know what those words mean, unfortunately, but they don't think it applies to us in the United States.
No, they don't understand. Most people do not understand.
I do think they understand that you can buy anything. I mean, I do think there's that a level of cynicism in our society that you buy an office.
Well, they have seen it happen.
Yeah, all the time. Well, in Bellingham, a second time around, Costco was able to buy having liquor in more available in stores. And does anybody understand that alcoholism is a major worldwide dis-ease that causes more damage than almost anything you can think of?
And then we have the war on marijuana, which is such a double standard, defies description.
Well, I haven't said it publicly, but I probably will soon, that I think grandmas ought to start growing that weed in their backyard gardens, because it's excellent for pain. It's excellent for depression, and it would take the crime out of it. There wouldn't be fights over whether the tobacco company was going to take over the marijuana profits, because it can grow anywhere, and it really is a medicine, and it's natural. But
I got one more question. And we should probably wrap things up soon. So, do you think that the Occupy movement and the Tea Party movement have any similarities that you think would be important for us to work together to try to address? Because I know that they feel that the government is totally corrupt. That's always been their big bag. They also have a bunch of social issue things that I don't agree with. But I think that it would be relevant for us to work together to try to at least work on Citizens United together. Do you think that it's worthwhile to try to team up with the Tea Partiers?
Well, we do have some little touch points together, but I think the differences are way too large to actually embrace them as cohorts. Or
they don't seem to think that the corporations run the government.
No.
They don't make that connection
They have the
somehow.
corporations, you leave those alone.
Yeah.
And so, we can work towards embracing the things that we touch on together. But we shouldn't really go much further than that, I don't think, because not only do they have some really strange ideas about how things should be run, they also don't have an awful lot of friends. They sound like they do, but they really don't.
They really don't.
So I think it'd be a waste of time to make any great overtures towards embracing them.
What would you suggest be next for the Occupy movement? Where should we go from camps in parks? What'll involve? I keep thinking that, we 99% and 1%, but to me, it's the wannabes in the 99% that are the biggest obstacle to changing the system. I mean, even very low-income people don't want to make any changes because they want to be rich too. And it's a belief that anybody can be rich and that's the way to go. That seems to me to be the most important goal of Americans.
Well, the one thing, we will gain quite a bit of traction with people like the King County now is going to shut down several sheriff precincts. So there'll be some sheriffs out there without a big badge on. And I don't know how many of them are going to be 99%ers, but it can't hurt to talk to them and say, this is what happens. And it happens in Tacoma to 300 police and fire people are going to be laid off in January. And fire stations in neighborhoods closed. That's what we need to get at. This corporate structure that we live under has damaged the wages of our population and is now reaching up into the ranks of the servants, and it is reaching into the fire stations. There's somewhere in back east in Tennessee or somewhere, they don't have a fire station, and they have to pay the neighboring fire station so much money before they'll even come out to stop the fire. This is what needs to be out there. This is what the people need to hear, because they think, well, we just don't like what's going on, but we have a reason, and those are the reasons. And all these people that are laid off now by the governments, they're going to have massive layoffs in Olympia.
Massive layoffs, yeah.
And they don't think about that. And they never think about what happens next.
What comes next isn't going to happen to them.
No.
They don't make that connection at all.
And what happens next is what they should think about. So you lay off 300 people. You got all kinds of aftershock. But nobody talks about the aftershock. So you're out of here, and that's it. Well, these people have houses, they have mortgages, they have bills to pay, they have children. The kids get to school and haven't had anything to eat. That's what's going to happen, and that's what we need to do. Really bring to the public the actual effects of what is going on. Not just saying, oh, well, there they go, the weirdos with the nose rings and the tattoos and all. That does not resonate with people. But when they find out that the fire station in their neighborhood is going to close.
Or the library.
Yeah.
Even
the
libraries
don't even bother them that much. But the fire station, what? My fire insurance is going to go up sky high if I don't have a fire station. That's what they need to know. That's what we need to know with what is really happening, and nobody talks about that. So that's your job.